Beside still waters, he leads me to rest. In his green pasture,
We're gonna leave it.
my soul he'll refresh and guide me along the path for his name. Beside still waters, beside still waters, beside still waters.
Be quiet, okay?
When I am weary and I'm hurting, your rod and staff, they comfort me.
Hi guys, this is Holly Dayle, and today I have with me Mr. Toby Holly, and he is
a licensed mental health counselor.
Yep, and so this is our new series that I've been talking about recently on other platforms. And so what we're going to be doing, this is our first episode doing this, by the way. We are going to be looking at a couple of different songs and addressing how you can use these songs to actually kind of go through anything that might be going on in your story and kind of address maybe, just problems and stuff and how to vent using these songs. Yeah, why don't you maybe give you a little better explanation than I did just now of what we're doing right now.
As a licensed mental health counselor, one of the most powerful tools that you could use to help people is music. And that's because music is one of these amazing things that kind of bridges between the body of a person and we could say the spirit or maybe the emotion of a person. Bridges between those two, and it's a powerful instrument to just bring together and allow you to better understand who you are and what you're about and the direction that you're trying to go. Music is a very beautiful thing.
That's very true. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to pick out a few songs, just for one for today, and we are going to kind of go through the lyrics and discuss what we think the lyrics mean and kind of the story behind them. And then afterward, we're going to go into some pointers about how the song can actually help you, and we can dissect the steps to do that. So let me go ahead and pull it up. So yeah, the first song that we are going to be doing on this podcast is
So Big, So Small from Dear Evan Hansen.
Yep. Let me go ahead and pull it up. And I'm going to be pausing it every few seconds just because, we don't want issues. So if there is, hopefully they'll let me know. That way we don't have to take it down, but we'll see. Okay, so yeah, let me go ahead and pull that up and pull up the lyrics so we can talk about it.
It's a very emotionally charged song that is, I'd say, a major player in this particular musical. The mother is singing Heidi, and she is singing to her son, Evan. And the basic storyline is there's a divorce between she and her husband. And this song takes place on the day that Dad is leaving. And it's a very, I'd say, traumatic scene for both the mother and the son, at least. And this song examines the hardship, but really it ends on a positive note, which is a contrast from the start of the song.
Okay, here it is. All right, so again, we're just going to be going through and kind of addressing the lyrics first, and then we'll get into some tips that you can use to actually be able to use this song.
To help you.
Right. All right, here we go. Oh, hold on, that's way quiet. Check the volume there. Okay, hopefully that's not too loud.
That's good.
I don't know about there.
It was a February day when your dad came by before going away. A U-Haul truck
going to pause it there.
Mhm.
Already, those lyrics are crazy powerful. So, yeah, let's dissect that. So, the first line here, it says it was a February day. And I don't know about you, but for me, the fact that she can remember what month it was, and it sounds like she can also recall the exact day it was as well. That means it's kind of like a vivid memory in her mind. And then when your dad came by before going away, that line is also really powerful to me as well. It kind of like the way it's phrased, before going away, sounds so finite.
Yeah, ominous.
Ominous, that's the
Going
word.
away.
Mhm.
Yeah, like never coming back away.
Right, yeah. And then let's see. Oh, and then the last line as well. The day it was suddenly real. That's a powerful line as well.
The anticipation of the day probably had been in the mind for weeks, if not months, and mixed feelings about it, which is often the case when a family, kind of faces divorce and separation. But it's just ominous. It's just a tough scene.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's continue with that.
I told you not to come outside, but you saw that truck and you smiled so wide. A real live truck in your driveway. We let you sit behind the wheel.
I think I want to pause it again. So I think that line is kind of cool. Jumping ahead where it says, we let you sit behind the wheel. It's the final line of that second part of the first verse, I believe. It's kind of like their last joint effort together for the son. It's the last, like, it almost mimics like a happy memory that they would have had if they were still together. You know what I mean?
There's some unity in the decision. We, possessive, plural, we sitting behind the wheel. We let you do that, yeah. Yeah, it's a kind of a funny thing because you want to see a mom and dad working together, but it's in a moment when they couldn't get along, so it's just kind of a weird, surreal moment.
Right.
The singer, as she is referring to her son, I told you to stay inside, but you saw the truck, you had to come outside anyway. She's almost smiling as she's referring
That is
to
true.
her son.
Yeah.
There's like a warmth. So it's fascinating how the song moves between something really surreal and difficult with regard to the divorce and dad is going away to my son. So a powerful difference in just the way she's articulating those characters.
Yeah, I think that's very true. Her like intonation in her voice and everything. You're totally right. I can totally see her or like hear her like smiling as she's singing that. Another thing too I'd like to point out is like the instrumentation in the background. I think as I heard was just one instrument, like the guitar. And it's just like this kind of simple strumming going on, which is interesting. As you see later in the song, the instrumental part in the background really picks up. But I don't know. A lot of times I feel like kind of the guitar is associated with kind of like nostalgia music, you know what I mean? When I think of a nostalgia kind of like song, I can picture a guitar pretty much, you know what I mean? Even this drum pattern feels like it just fits the vibe really well. So that's playing a part into the emotion is essentially what I was trying to say there. All right, let's continue on to, I believe, the third? No, it's the third section of the first verse, I think this part is. Or the chorus, we'll see.
Goodbye, goodbye. Now it's just me and my little guy. And the house felt so big, and I felt so small. The house felt so big, and I felt so small.
I'll pause it there again. Yeah, there's something I want to mention that I actually just noticed as I was looking at the lyrics. I have them pulled up here. It seems like she says some things twice. Like, for example, goodbye, goodbye. She said it twice. And she said, the house felt so big and I feel so small. She said that twice. I think that it's interesting when you hear her say those phrases and or words, she says them a little bit differently, almost meaning something different. Like what I heard with the goodbye part was the first goodbye I don't know, almost felt like a genuine goodbye, like, goodbye, goodbye. You know, it's just kind of like that last one felt like he was like going over the hills and he was driving away. You know what I mean? I don't know. The way that was phrased just kind of caught me there.
I also think the repetition of this, of, you know, it having been said multiple times means to put emphasis on it.
Right.
You know, there's something more powerful about that when it's multiplied. And the so big, so small theme, which of course is the title of the song, I think we'll see this, you know, kind of play out through the song. It emphasizes the big problem, contrasted against the small solution. You know, the solution that she could bring feels so small against the big problem of, you know, now being alone.
Yeah, that's true. All right, why don't we move on into the next part here?
That night I tucked you into bed. I will never forget how you sat up and said, "Is there another truck coming to our driveway? A truck that will take mommy away."
Dang, that's so sad. Wow. Yeah, that's another good place to stop, actually. Yeah. Oh my gosh, there's a lot to unpack there. What do you think is a good place to start there with that verse? Or I think it's a verse. Yeah.
I hear her still loving her kid a lot. She's being very attentive. He is the center of her universe there as a single mom, it would seem. And you know, the child's excitement about the truck would refer to, I think, innocence.
Yeah.
And now, of course, later that evening, in reflection, this child is coming face to face with actually the truck meant something different than excitement.
Yeah,
you know, maybe this truck is going to take mommy away next. So now suddenly the truck is no fun. And I just think that the dawning reality of something big has happened in this child's life is kind of coming across his thoughts. And she's observing that, hearing that in a question, and that's sad.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. Is there another truck coming to our driveway? That's so sad. Okay. Yeah, let's move on to the next part, which I think is the chorus again.
And the house
Back to this line.
and I felt so small. The house felt so big, and I
Okay, hold on. I think I'm going to pause it there just for a second. There's like two things I wanted to notice here. Is like you can hear the music right in this part. And if I think I go on YouTube, I can check. Yeah. So that part right there is the most replayed part on YouTube. And I can totally see why. The emotion there, just in the music in and of itself, really builds there beautifully. It's able to capture both her distress and worry, but also her desire to be able to provide for her kid, be able to figure out this whole new dynamic she's found herself in. And let's see. Yeah, the part that stuck out to me in the lyrics was she sang the chorus again. The house felt so big and I felt so small. The house felt so big and as I'm looking at the lyrics here, the I has one of those like long dashes. I think in grammar that means it's like a long pause there, or like a thoughtful pause, I think. And it's interesting because it looks like, looking at the lyrics, she's talking about herself there. Like, the house felt so big and I felt so small. The house felt so big and on the word I, she switches to now talking about her son and what she can do for her son. Kind of getting out of that space at that moment. Like, I need to not be worrying about me right now. How do I take care of my kid now? Because it's just me. I need to be like the mom now. Right? Would you agree with that?
That's totally right, yeah. Yes, and the swelling of the music, it correlates the swelling of the emotion, the power of it, which, you know, it just brings us back to how big of a deal music is. I mean, it really does stir you comprehensively all the way down into your bones.
That's so true. I think the violins and the cellos, I think there's cellos in there anyway, also really played a part to that swelling that you're talking about. That's something that like the string instruments bring to the table with that. So Yeah. And I want to back it up just for a second so I can listen to the music. But
The house felt
this
so
part.
big, and I knew
Yeah.
there would be moments that I'd miss, and I knew.
What's cool here, sorry I paused it again, but it's cool to see how the instrumentation there almost felt like the build felt like you could really distinguish a lot of the instrumentation going on in the background. And right in here, it's almost feeling a little chaotic, not too much, like you can tell what's going on, but I love that part of it that I can hear, that I feel with it, because it like really plays into the emotion that the words are bringing to the table here too. The instrumentation is really reflecting that equally as much, just to be able to bring that across. So, yeah. All right. Anything to add to that? Or no?
That's powerful.
Okay. All right, let's continue with the words here.
There would be space I couldn't fill, and I knew I'd come up short a million different ways, and I did, and I do, and I will. But like that February day,
Here, let me pause.
Yeah,
I will
that's good.
take your hand, squeeze it.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't want to go too long, because I actually don't have like the.
I think
YouTube stuff.
I think what struck me is the reference in time.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. Yeah.
You know, she's acknowledging her humanity, her imperfection, which permeates the whole story, right? I mean, in the past, in the present, and in fact, in the future. And so, you know, I can't be perfect. I think where the song is going is I can be there for you, and I am going to be there for you, but I'm not going to be perfect. And I can't make life perfect. So the imperfection is, I think, the emphasis on that section, and just the resignation that there's no way around that. You know, it's a life truth.
Yeah. By the way, thank you guys for the comments. I was just going through and reading it. Y'all are very, very sweet. I think someone asked, have I done Celine Dion in my music? I don't think so. I should probably do that. I was thinking The Prayer would be one that I'm going to do soon. I have a few people I'm going to be reaching out to, actually, to maybe produce a full cover of that song. So yeah, that's very sweet of you guys. All right, let's get back to what we were talking about here. I'm sorry, where were we? And with the lyrics here? Oh yeah, I totally agree with the "and I did," "and I do," "and I will." That is very powerful, because she's talking about there in the lyrics how like she knows she's going to continuously mess up because she can't be both the mom and dad. She knows that, at least that's my interpretation of it, that she's not going to be able to fill both shoes because she physically can't. She's not two people, right? But she wants to. I think that's where she is in her heart, and that's what she's trying to convey to her son here, Evan. Yeah. That she's like, I know I'm going to mess up. I have in the past. I'm acknowledging that. So if you're hurt about something I did, you know, I'm acknowledging, yes, I did do that, and I'm sorry, you know. And I do. I might be currently doing something you're not okay with. Maybe that's why this whole song came up. I don't actually know the full story of the musical, you know. Maybe this song was like brought on because like some argument they had in the musical, right? Maybe. I don't know. And then I will, acknowledging that, you know, I'm going to continue to make mistakes because I'm human, but I want you to know that I will be here for you regardless of all my humanness and how I mess up.
And this song is fixing to transition into, you know, really the big promise.
Yeah. Let's jump into that, shall we?
Tightly and say.
Oh, hold on. That was too far. There we go. I'll back it up a little bit.
But like
Yeah,
that
right.
February day, I will take your hand, squeeze it tightly, and say, there's not another truck in the driveway. Your mom isn't going anywhere. Your mom is staying right here. Your mom isn't going anywhere. Your mom is staying right here.
Before we get into that, let me pause that there because I think that's like 30 seconds, which, by the way,
The,
if I'm pausing a lot, that's because there's like a time limit I'm allowed to. So, yeah, that's part of the reason. But I love the line where she says, "There's not another truck in the driveway." Even the music changes there on that line, which is really cool. Really like adds an emphasis to this, like leading back to the beginning of the song, you know, which I thought was really, really cool. So, you wanna add to that?
Yes, and I also felt like the music began to have its own build again on the "your mom" phrase.
Yes, that's true.
You know, so I mean, she can speak for herself. She can't speak for maybe dad, right?
Right.
But she can speak for herself, and she is here, and I'm going to be here. So this is a testament of a single mom present for her kid, which is beautiful.
Yeah, that's so cool. All right, it's gonna continue.
Here, no matter what, I'll be here when it all feels so big, till it all feels so small. When it all
And the music picked back up
Right,
here, which is
right.
really cool.
Yeah.
till it all
Especially this last part, she says it twice. Listen, it's really cool how like you can hear the music die down here.
till it all feels so
Back to the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the single instrument, and then back to that same like pattern too.
There's a word that has been inserted in our phrase, ever so,
Till
I
it
guess
all feels
quietly.
so
You know,
small.
the word
Yeah.
"till,"
Mm-hmm.
right? So big, so small. And as the song moves along, I'm gonna be here with you through it all, right? Through the big and until it seems so small. So it's actually a little nuance change there. And it's just, I think, the echo of the promise. I'm going to be here until ...
Yeah. ...
kind of thing.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. Okay, so that was the whole song. So now why don't we jump into addressing how we can actually now use this song. So let's first discuss like what would be a situation someone would be in where you would recommend maybe to listen to this song. What would this song do for them?
I think the first principle to just remember, and I touched on it right when we started the stream, humans are amazingly complex creatures. We have, you know, a physicality about us, and in addition to that, we have a spirit about us, which is kind of mysterious but powerful and true. And one of the things about music, which, you know, I think everybody kind of knows this intuitively, it really does move you. It does something to you, for better and for worse. And so music can be used in a very deliberate fashion to help, I would say, to heal, to grow in your story. And what it does is it just brings together both the body and the spirit in a kind of a seamless fashion, like a bridge.
Right.
There's an interplay that music facilitates. And that's really the focal point that a counselor would use in, you know, like a therapeutic setting.
Yeah, that's true.
And in this case, and the reason why we selected this song just to kind of go through is in counseling, you may meet a person who, let's just say they're a young adult. Maybe they came up out of a family where there was a divorce or something. They're trying to kind of get their own life going, developing their own intimate relationships. And they're discovering, kind of to their surprise, that there are certain maybe challenges internally that they're facing with this new relationship. And sometimes it's like you can't feel what you want to feel. It's just there's like a block. Maybe fear or something is not allowing you to be as vulnerable as you want to be.
Right.
And a song like this could be used to help that person get in touch with maybe behind that wall, what they're actually thinking, feeling, and struggling with. Probably something in the past. I mean, depending on the circumstances, there could be a need to resolve certain issues with, you know, family members. That's certainly possible. Maybe not. But at minimum, being able to kind of feel what is hidden back there is essential if you're going to be able to get past it and then develop something in the present in the way of intimacy with vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great song for that. You just, the bottom line is you would find a place where it was just, you and God, and you would listen to the song and just kind of see what it pulls up out of you in kind of a private space, and meditate on it and think about it, maybe journal, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I consider this song the sort of song that would be one for discovery, because it is kind of a sad song. Even though there is resolution at the end of the song, you don't normally walk away from the song feeling, tons better.
Yeah,
Now, some songs
true.
can actually do that, but this song does kind of have a lingering heaviness to it.
That's true.
I still think it's valuable though, because it helps you really discover, maybe kind of figure out what's going on inside, or at least the front edge of it.
Mm-hmm.
And probably would have to repeat the exercise several times, just really thinking, allowing yourself to kind of go back and try and capture, all right, what is it that I'm troubled over?
Right.
It takes courage to do that, because most folks obviously don't want to feel pain.
Right.
And this song really can help you feel the pain that you've perhaps tried to not feel.
Mm-hmm.
But at the risk of being redundant, remember, if you don't allow yourself to feel the pain, there's little chance you'll be able to overcome and heal from it. So the first part is actually, coming to terms with, wow, I went through that and it hurt.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. So I think in addition to that, what we're planning on doing with this series is we're going to be putting together kind of like a playlist of all these songs that you can actually use and kind of go through and meditate on these songs.
Mm-hmm.
And then afterward, we're planning on making another playlist, which will probably make it a 2-part thing where we talk about like a song that can help you with a certain situation. And then we will go into a different type of song that can kind of get you out of that mood, you know what I mean, after you've kind of vented and kind of gone through your emotions with a certain song, or a couple songs from this playlist that we'll discuss, which each one can kind of maybe draw you to or like help you with. The second song that will be kind of like a mood booster, essentially, to get you out of that place and kind of help you kind of walk your way out of that and kind of get back into like reality in a sense.
If this is a song of discovery,
right,
then that alternate playlist would be maybe a playlist of resolution or something, or victory or something.
Exactly. So yeah, that's the goal. So what we're going to do is after this stream is done and everything, I'm going to go through and actually drop soon. I haven't made it yet, but once we have all the songs together, I'm going to put in the description a playlist where you can go through and listen to these songs and kind of use the notes and everything from this. And eventually I'm also going to put these live streams available on like Spotify and that sort of thing. So that way you guys can go through and kind of like analyze the podcast yourself if you want to go through and take notes. Because soon we're going to be taking questions and stuff like that. That's a setup that we have to, set up. So we don't have it quite ready yet. But our hope is in the future that y'all will be able to send in questions and we can kind of like address them and kind of go through the process of analyzing that with you guys while we're looking at the music. So yeah, soon we're going to have, again, I'll say a playlist where we will title it and what this playlist will be able to help you with these songs. And then attach another playlist to that where you can kind of use it to kind of get out of that like mood and vibe. Kind of go full circle with it.
And this particular song was one of the more popular songs in the musical Dear Evan Hansen. And the title was So Big, So Small. And Ben, what's the gentleman's last name?
Ben Platt.
Yeah, and then another gentleman, Justin Paul, those two fellas.
Oh, yeah.
Put that song together, and it was a good, powerful song.
Yeah, it was a good, powerful song. And that's a good question. In regards to Patreon, that's something that we're going to be putting together soon. Again, tonight was just kind of like our first episode. We're trying to figure out all of this. But yeah, soon we're going to have a Patreon where y'all can actually go through and put in questions so that way we can address them during the stream. Well, that's the hope. And I think there's also some features. We're also going to be on like TikTok and other platforms where it's a lot easier for us to be able to view those questions through like the subscription Maybe I'll put that as well in the description. So we'll figure out what is the easiest way for us to get questions from y'all. And
yeah, actually, I do look forward to that. I'm highly interested in being able to receive questions and just kind of think out loud how I might offer responses that would be helpful. That'd be good.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining. This has been a great first podcast.
Thank you for joining us. Have a lovely evening. Talk to you next time.
I'll talk to you guys next time. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. All right. See you guys soon.
Bye now.
Beside still waters, he leads me to